Well, welcome back to York, Carolina. It seems like over the Christmas and New Year's holiday, a lot of folks have gotten engaged. So what do you do next? We're going to help you brides and grooms out there. We have High Spirits Hospitality. Tammy Johnson is the CEO there. And you guys know a thing or two about big events and big weddings.
We do. We absolutely do. We do hundreds a year.
Yes, and you do big, you do small. The big question is, what happens next?
So once you get the ring on your finger, the next step is to start determining a budget and an overall vision for your wedding. So do you want to go elope at a destination wedding on the beach, or do you want to have a big grand ballroom wedding here locally? You and your fiance, both parties, need to determine what the goals are for the wedding from a vision standpoint, and then make sure your budget kind of accommodate that vision.
Right.
So you don't plan on getting married in Cinderella Castle at Disney World if you only have $1,000 in the budget.
Of course, the venue is a big part of that, and you guys know that.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what we should be thinking about in the venue, and you guys have a great one that's coming pretty soon too.
Yes, so we're super excited to be opening 2 new spaces at Judson Mill here in the next few months. But yes, so a venue, that's always the biggest question. A lot of times I tell our couples, get the venue before the dress, because sometimes your venue actually determines the dress. And you may end up falling in love with a dress that doesn't fit your venue. So make sure you have your venue first. Make sure you feel good about the date. Check your family's calendars. Make sure nobody's graduating that day. Make sure there aren't
no big Clemson
events.
football game, Carolina football game.
Yeah, we got to watch the game schedule. But make sure the venue feels good for both of you. Make sure it's ample to accommodate your guest count. If your venue says a 200-person guest count limit, don't try to pack in 205 people. It's not going to work. So be realistic about that. And just really have a good sense for the style of your venue, as well as what the services are going to provide. So if you're shopping at multiple venues, you're not going to be able to compare them apples to apples. You really are looking at apples to oranges, because some venues provide food catering, others don't. Some do bar service, some don't. So make sure you're taking what items that venue provides as a whole and plugging it into your wedding budget to make sure that you're not buying a really big house that you can't afford to furnish.
It makes a lot of sense, and I never thought about picking the venue before the dress. But it makes a lot of sense, because if you have like a really rustic looking venue, but then your dress is super modern, and it kind of the mix match is going on. So that's very interesting. What can we expect from these 2 new event spaces that you're opening? What is the vibe going to be there?
They are going to be, so we have 2 spaces. They're going to be slightly different, which is great. So we're kind of going with the boho industrial theme a little bit, very vintage, very authentic, just really warm, welcoming spaces. Our larger space, the annex, can accommodate up to 350 guests seated and 600 for a standing reception.
Wow.
And that space is going to be very light and airy, with big exposed windows and a shiplap wall. Our smaller venue, the Smokestack, will be able to accommodate about 175, 190. We're still working on the exact numbers, but that's going to be more intimate, more romantic space that has an outdoor courtyard with it too.
And when will people be able to start booking for that?
Oh, we're booking now.
It's already happening.
We are booking now, yes. Events at judsonmill.com.
You can tell I've never done an event, because I'm like, oh, when the day before? But that does bring up a point. How much time should we be given to my wedding's a year from now? Am I already behind if I haven't booked?
No, a year is pretty good. We're still getting a ton of inquiries for this fall. So anywhere from 8 to 24 months. It just depends on how flexible you're willing to be with your date and how flexible in your venue.
We're talking about trends, and one of them has to do with, COVID has caused us to do some things a bit differently.
Yes, so obviously, with COVID, we started to see much more smaller, intimate weddings. And we love those. It's just the close family, close friends, and those are incredible. But what's another interesting trend has been what the industry has now determined to be sequel weddings. So that's where the couple went out and they had a small wedding, during the pandemic, and now they want to have a big party and invite all of their friends and family. And so they're doing a sequel wedding.
A sequel wedding. So if you hear that term, that's what that is. And before I let you go, you shared a really great tip of you want to invite everyone that you've ever met. The person you met on the corner 5 minutes ago, you want to invite them to your wedding. But every person that comes to your wedding is a cost. Whether it's a bar cost or a food cost, it's going to be a cost. And you had a really good pro tip that I really like.
Yes, so with a wedding, when you're looking at that budget, any guest is going to add anywhere from $75 up to $200, $250, sometimes even $300 the cost of your wedding. So if you're running on a tight budget, and if you need to eliminate some guests, what I always recommend is take a $100 bill, take $200, whatever that per guest price is, get it in cash. I swear, go to the bank, get it in cash, hold it in front of you. You need that visual. Look at that name on the guest list, and if you would not give that person that cash just because you love them, don't invite them.
I think that's an easy way to eliminate some people off the list. Mom and Dad, you're the only ones invited. That's the only people I'm going to give $200 cash money to. So this is great. You guys are going to have a beautiful space here at Judson Mill Lofts in Greenville. Remind us again of that website where people can go if they're looking to kind of to price some things out, give you guys a call.
Absolutely. It is events@judsonmill.com.
We'll be sure to put that for you at our website, livingupstatesc.com. Tammy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thanks for coming
of
by.
course.